Because of why I search the deep through endless nights, no time to sleep. The call inside I can't deny. I'll find the light because of why.
So you ever wonder why Saudi Arabia is just so incredibly rich? It's a story that's about way more than just oil. We're talking geology, smart strategy, and a really high-stakes plan for the future. Let's dive in. All right, so let's just jump right in with the simplest answer, which honestly gets right to the heart of it. This quote, it absolutely nails it. They have a ton of really good oil, and it's super, super easy to get. But what does good and easy actually mean when we're talking about oil? Okay, so it all starts with the oil. But this isn't just any oil. We're talking about a geological jackpot, and understanding that is the key to understanding everything else. First off, the sheer amount of it is staggering. We're talking about the second largest proven reserves on the entire planet. But here's the kicker, and this is really important. A lot of it is what's called light sweet crude. Now, in the oil world, sweet just means it has low sulfur, and that makes it way, way easier and cheaper to refine into stuff like gasoline. Think of it like the top-shelf premium stuff.
And this slide? This just perfectly shows their massive, massive advantage. It's not just that the oil is high quality, it's that it is incredibly cheap to get out of the ground. Most of it is onshore, just sitting in these huge, easy-to-access fields. For them, pumping more oil is almost like, well, turning on a faucet. Now compare that to the crazy expensive, super complex operations for drilling deep under the ocean or getting oil from tar sands. That huge difference in cost? It means Saudi Arabia's profit margin on every single barrel is just astronomical.
Okay, so having a ton of oil is one thing, but turning that black gold into a global powerhouse, that's a whole other ballgame. How exactly did they build this incredible wealth machine?
Yeah, this wasn't just dumb luck. It was a series of really smart strategic moves over decades. I mean, you see it here. After that first big discovery in '38, they helped create OPEC in 1960 to get more control over prices. Then bam, the 1973 oil crisis hits, and that was a huge turning point. It showed the world just how much power they had. And by 1980, they took full control by nationalizing Aramco. That meant all the profits, every single penny, flowed right back to the state.
And that '73 crisis? It was like hitting a gusher all over again. The price of oil quadrupled, and the kingdom's GDP just exploded. Look at that number, from $15 billion to $184 billion in less than a decade. I mean, this wasn't just a boom. This was a complete transformation that paid for a modern country. Roads, hospitals, schools, you name it, all built with oil money. And right at the heart of this entire operation, you have one name, Saudi Aramco. This is the golden goose, the state-owned giant that manages all this oil and generates the cash that powers the entire kingdom. But here's the thing, right? Oil's not going to last forever. And the Saudis, they know this. The party has to end sometime. So what's the game plan for a world that's moving away from fossil fuels? This is where things get really interesting. The answer is a plan so big, so ambitious, it's almost hard to wrap your head around it. It's called Saudi Vision 2030. And the goal is, well, it's nothing less than a complete economic overhaul. The idea is to use today's oil money to build a future that doesn't need it.
And how are they going to pay for all this? Well, meet the Public Investment Fund, or PIF. This is the financial engine for Vision 2030. We're talking about a sovereign wealth fund with, look at that, nearly $1 trillion in assets. It's one of the biggest in the world, and it's making these huge bets to pivot the entire country into brand new industries.
And they are not messing around. They're making absolutely massive bets on the industries of the future. Take electric vehicles, for instance. The PIF is pouring money into companies like Lucid Motors to build a huge EV manufacturing hub right there in the desert.
And it definitely doesn't stop with cars. They're also planning to drop something like $40 billion into artificial intelligence. The goal here is to become a global player in tech and build a whole AI ecosystem from scratch.
And here's the ironic part, right? A huge piece of their plan to move beyond oil is to invest in other kinds of energy. They're taking their other big natural resource, sunshine, which they have a lot of, and pouring money into giant solar projects and even the world's largest green hydrogen plant. So they're using oil money to become a green energy power.
But let's be real. Trying to completely remake your entire economy in just a couple of decades, that is a monumental task. And even with all the money in the world, the kingdom is facing some pretty serious challenges at home.
Okay, so this chart tells a really interesting story. For Vision 2030 to actually work, they need a booming private sector. The problem? Right now, that private sector runs on foreign labor. We're talking 90%. That is a massive hurdle they have to figure out how to overcome.
So, you see, this huge economic shift isn't happening in a vacuum. There are some serious pressures at home. First, you've got a massive youth bulge. About half the country is under 25, and they all need jobs. The push to get Saudi citizens into those private sector jobs, what they call Saudization, has been, well, it's been tough. And yeah, even with all that national wealth, you still have real issues like housing shortages and poverty that affect a lot of people.
So, when you step back and look at the whole picture, the insane oil wealth, this incredibly ambitious plan for the future, and all these very real challenges, you see a country at a historic crossroads.
For almost 100 years, Saudi Arabia's entire identity, its fortune, its place in the world, was built on a foundation of oil. And now, they're using the money from that very foundation to try and build something completely new, something that can stand on its own long after the oil is gone.
And that leaves us with the big multi-trillion-dollar question, doesn't it? They built their incredible wealth on oil. Can they now build a future without it? How this grand experiment turns out won't just affect the Middle East. It's going to have ripple effects across the entire global economy.
So what do you think? Can they actually pull this off? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm really curious to hear your take. And hey, if you learned something today, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.